I keep doing again. Looks like we're live.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to All Things Books and Publishing with your host, Mary Brotherton and Yvonne Mason, and our guest, Aron M Frakes. He is a new author that we have with his debut novel, and I'm going to tell you, we've had an interesting discussion before the show. We'll probably revisit it because he had some very interesting and truisms that happens with writers who hesitate about becoming indie authors. So, welcome, Aron. We are so glad you are here.
Thank you for having me. It is completely out of my norm to do this kind of stuff, but
Unless you're playing Dungeons and Dragons.
yeah.
But the thing is, ladies and gentlemen, when we have authors on our show, it's just a conversation between friends. There's no script because Mary and I don't know what we're going to talk about, much less when we have a guest.
And even when we plan to talk about certain things, we might touch on it, and sometimes we go a whole hour and a half and go, oh, wait a minute, we didn't even mention our topic for the day.
The best laid plans of mice and men.
Yes.
So we are just going to enjoy this conversation for the next hour and a half, which will fly by, Aron. You're going to look up and go, it's what time? Where did the time go?
I've lost a lot of time in front of a computer screen talking to other people.
This is different, so different. So, ladies and gentlemen, Aron is Mary's son, and the backstory is this. Aron sent his book 10 years ago to a publisher, and that publisher said, thanks but no thanks, because your book does not fit our formula. Now, as someone who's been in this business for 20 some odd years, their formula sucks, because what they do is they regurgitate the same storyline, different author, different characters, same outcome, with no meat on the bone. They do not fluff out their characters. They do not make three-dimensional stories. They do not create subplots. It's okay, front page, back page, we're done. We don't do that here at Midnight Publishing. We encourage our authors to stretch themselves beyond what they think they can even do. So Mary finally convinced Aron, look, if I can give it up to Yvonne after she tells me to stop and just hand it over to her, and I can go on about my day and see all these books start popping up and wondering what just happened, you can do it too. So Aron sent me his book. I fell in love with it. Now understand, I don't read science fiction. I don't like science fiction. But I fell in love with this book, the first sentence. Because what Aron did is he took his character and he immediately started building this character as a three-dimensional character. It wasn't in your face, it was gradual. So the more I was trying to format the book, I found myself reading and going, Yvonne, what are you doing? You're working. You're not reading for fun. You're working. It's all your fault.
I'll take the blame.
Okay. So the book is Mana Phage, and we worked on a cover, got the cover going, and he said, Yvonne, let's take the transport off the back of the cover. I said, absolutely not. No. And the reason for that is that transport is the hook to the book. And we'll get into that later on in the show. But when I sent Aron the email that said, okay, I'm getting ready to put your book up on Amazon, he goes, what? What? I just thought it was going to go on a shelf somewhere and that would be the end of it. I said, no, honey, it's going live today. I said, oh, we're going to pre-market this book for 2 weeks. We're going to draw people in with the hook. And it worked, because his pre-orders were astronomical.
I was surprised at how many people pre-ordered a Kindle version.
Exactly. So with that, Aron, welcome to the show. Tell us your journey.
Oh, I'm not even sure where to start. I mean, you've outlined a lot of it.
Flesh it out.
So originally I had this idea that I was going to write the next big fantasy epic, 15 book series. I had these characters in mind. I had this world that I was building, and I spent what, 5 years maybe writing the first.
I think about
first
5 years.
And so over that time, it changed, it evolved, it grew, it became better. My writing became better, and I started to feel like, yeah, I'm getting there. Sent it to a publisher. They said, nah. And I immediately said, well, I'm never writing again. If you don't want my book, then nobody gets my book. I'm done. And I quit writing for a little over a decade because I didn't see the point in it. It didn't seem like.
Wasn't fun.
Well, it was still fun. I still enjoyed the process, the creativity, but it felt like, well, that's not going to gain me any benefit. I'm not going to be able to quit my job. I'm not going to be able to go and tour, and I'm not going to be famous like I thought I was going to be. I'm not winning the lottery by selling this book.
Do you want to be famous, Matt?
Not at all. Not at all. But in the back of my mind, it's like, that's what success looks like. I honestly, I've heard a lot of some indie authors who write under a pseudonym. They'll still go to book signings in a mask.
Oh, that's silly.
Yeah.
In a mask.
In a mask,
Now,
yeah.
I do know some people that, especially women, but there's some men too, that write under a pseudonym because they have been victims of violence.
Mm-hmm.
I actually know two of them personally. And as a result, I was introduced to them as, Madam X or Madam Y. And then down the road, after a couple of years of getting to know them, they say, that's not really my name. I'm like, what? You'll always be this to me. Who are you? And they'll say, I had to escape. Actually, I know 3 women like that. One woman was actually kidnapped. It was like a human trafficking situation. So they write under a different name, and that makes perfectly good sense. But I don't know. I'm very proud of who I am, and I want everybody to know my book. So I want everybody to know your book now. That's
Me
my
too.
vision.
I want to make more sci-fi, science fantasy fans. I want people who've never thought, science, who always have thought science fiction's dumb. I'm not interested in it. I want to change their minds.
You changed my baby.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I am a hard person to change my mind, because most science fiction is boring. There's
I'll
no
agree.
in the book at all.
No.
It's boring.
It's very dry.
Very dry.
A lot of it is very dry. It's not
Well,
character driven.
You added the
Science.
drama to the science fiction. You added the personality that's missing in a lot of sci-fi, especially
Which is-
sci-fi books.
Yes,
If
yeah.
it makes, and everybody cannot be George R. Martin. Everybody cannot be, I forget his name, the guy who wrote Star Trek and Star Wars.
Gene Roddenberry.
Gene Roddenberry and George Lucas. Everybody can't do that. But you don't need to. You need to be Aron Frakes.
Yep, I agree.
So,
I don't want to be any other author.
so
I want to
continue. You said, I'm done. I'm not. Forget it. Not doing this. So what happened next?
I worked. I got a job. I kept working. I just kept grinding away. I felt like I was grinding my spirit down because all I was doing was just make enough money to pay the bills, to survive, to be comfortable. maybe occasionally treat myself to something nice, but rarely because I'm very frugal. And by frugal, I mean cheap, but I don't spend money if I don't have to.
You're a
And
Spartan.
yes, very Spartan, very minimalist. If you could see beyond my giant face in my mirror, in my window, you would see zero decorations on my wall because I don't understand the need for it. Doesn't make sense. But I just worked. After the first rejection, and I kind of got the, well, what's the point? What's the point? If I can't sell it and it's not going to do me any good, what's the point? This is I'm gonna be a little personal here. I didn't really have any friends that I wanted to confide in the sense of I knew that if I talked to my friends, they would give me advice that my friends would give me. If I talked to my family, they would give me advice that my family would give me. Does that make sense?
Yeah, your loved ones give you different advice than total strangers.
Exactly. So I ended up calling the suicide prevention hotline because I just wanted a complete and total stranger to talk to about all the things that I was dealing with without any judgment, without anybody talking, trying to fix the situation, just listening. Well, after that, I talked to Mom about that. I let her know that, oh yeah, it's great. It was a great experience. It helped me kind of recenter myself. It helped me kind of understand what the point was. And it's not just writing a book and to making money, to continue living, to be happy. And when she found out that I called the suicide prevention hotline, she told my brother because he and I have similar concerns and issues. Different, but similar. And the next weekend he was knocking on my door from Florida to South Carolina. No call, no nothing. He just showed up at my door and he's like, hey, Mom called me. What the hell? I was like, oh, hey, okay, I guess let's go take a walk. And he invited me to move to Florida and live with him and his wife and his family and kind of reconnect. Because he and I had been, I don't want to say estranged, because there wasn't any like tension or difficulties between us. His life just went right and mine went left. And we just never connected in the intervening years for about 20 years. He lived his life and I lived mine. And so I went to visit, kind of liked it here. It was pretty nice. He lived in the suburbs and everything was very convenient. So I said, you know what? I've been living in South Carolina for too many years. Let me do something different. Let me just say yes to something instead of just immediately going, nah, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do anything. So I moved in with him and his family, got a job in Florida, and ended up working at the same company that he worked at in a different department. And we, reconnected on the weekends, and just, I got to be a brother again. And he was a brother to me. And it was nice. It was really good to reconnect like that. And then, just continued working and surviving and living, got my own place after a while, and started working on my art again, and started a podcast where I played Pathfinder with my friends back home in South Carolina because we still wanted to play together, but we couldn't be in person, so do it online. Hey, while we're online, why don't we make a podcast out of it? And so we did that, and still doing that. But then a friend from Atlanta called me up. He's like, hey, I'm writing a book. I think you should write a book too. I'm like, where's this coming from? He's like, you already wrote a book. I think you should try and republish it. I'm like, nah, I'm not going to republish my first book. That I would have to rewrite the entire thing. It's garbage. And he's like, well, what if you did this? And what if you tweaked that? And I was like, it doesn't make any sense to me to try to rewrite what I wrote. And he's like, what if you just changed the names and wrote a different story? And something like he sent me images that he created that were like brainstorming cover art and just images of different character ideas that I described to him that was in my head. And it just, something clicked. And I pulled out my phone and started taking notes down and coming up with ideas and figuring out how I can do different angles. And just the next thing I knew, I was chapter 1. And 1,000 words for chapter 1, and it just kept falling out. The words just kept falling out. And so I just kept trying to catch them. And honestly, there were only a few times where it felt like I was actively writing. The rest of the time, it just felt like I put my fingers on the keyboard and something made my fingers move to put words on the document. And I had very little to do with it.
Call it a
Sounds
God
like
thing.
inspiration.
I'm sorry, Yvonne, you said you call it a what?
Call it a God thing.
Maybe. But yeah, I felt inspired, and it was nonstop until I reached the end. And now I'm already working on chapter 7 of book 2.
And ladies and gentlemen, this is the magic that Midnight Publishing has with people that come to us. Because, and I say this at every podcast, we allow God to drive this train. God is the reason that I even have this publishing company. I wasn't even going to be a publisher. My publisher died. And I wasn't going to waste time. I was either going to quit, my friends were going to quit, and God said, no, I got a plan for you, Yvonne. You get in there and you set this thing up because I got a plan for you. Because he sees things I don't see. And people say, well, yeah, but you charge. No, I don't, ladies and gentlemen. I don't charge my authors a dime, not for anything that we do. Not a dime.
That's what sold me on you, to be honest with you, because like I said before, I'm cheap. And if I can publish a book without spending a dime, I'll spend a dime afterwards.
Well, the thing is, Aaron, hang on just a minute, Mary, I'll give you the floor. The thing is, Aaron,
Okay.
God brought you to Midnight Publishing because he gave you a purpose, and then that purpose needed to be fulfilled, and that has helped you heal.
It did, yeah, it definitely did.
Go ahead, Mary.
I was just thinking about Sherry Ann Richardson. We've interviewed her in the past, and she was with Penguin. That's one of the big 6 publishing houses. She had an agent. She had her specified editor and all this. And she told us how you think, oh, I made it. I've got, I'm with Penguin. This is great. And they say, we'll give you, I'm just going to round the figure up, say $30,000 advance on your book. And you're like, yes, I've made it to the Hallmark movie ending. This is awesome. It's not.
It's a nightmare.
Because the publisher dictates everything from that moment on. You've got $30,000. We need you to spend $5,000 of that on a designer. We need you to spend another $5,000 on a publicist. We need you to do, I don't even know what all it was. But they wouldn't allow her to do the things. Okay, we were talking earlier about bookmarks. Your bookmark for your book has a QR code. If Sherry Ann had tried to do that with Penguin, they probably would have said, just put the bookmark out, but leave the QR code. We don't want them to go to Amazon or anywhere else to buy it. And if she tried to sell anything, they limited how much she could sell. And so she ended up owing them money at the end.
And she never got a dime of her royalties.
So that feels very predatory to me.
It is predatory.
And
But it's one of the big six, so everybody aspires to go there. Now, there are a handful of people that have made their mark in the world, and most of us know who they are. You know, Stephen King, James Patterson, J.K. Rowling, E.L. James. I can't remember anybody else right now that's contemporary. But they happen to get in with a big six, and they happen to make their money back. Or maybe they didn't. Because a lot of them, if you read one James Patterson book, you've read them all. He has a formula. Danielle Steele's another one. She writes the same book over and over. She just changes the name of the city, the name of the people, maybe what year they were doing it. But it's the same stuff over and over. There's nothing original. And it just annoys me sometimes.
well, ladies and gentlemen, this is what we preach here is in the traditional publishing world, there is a formula, and they don't want to deviate from it. They slap a cover on it, and they say, boom, here it is, on to the next one. Aron is not the first author that we have acquired recently that got that same, it doesn't meet our formula. And the reason it doesn't meet the formula is because it tells a story in a 3D atmosphere. Aron, your book Maniphage has so many layers that as you're reading this book, you just peel back the layers and watch your characters grow like you or I would in the real world. This is what readers are wanting. I'm seeing more and more readers say, I enjoy indie authors because they are different. They tell a story. You can crawl into your book and walk with the characters. You're not just reading a page just to get through the page.
One of the reasons that I even started writing is because I think I even told my mom this. The trick is to write a book that you want to read that doesn't exist yet. And I hadn't seen exactly my style or my world or my concept before, and I had the idea and I wanted to see it. So I played pretend in my own head and then decided to put those words down.
And let's, before we get into the book, Mary and I have talked about this many, many times. Many times. And we're going to keep talking about it. And that is when your best friend or your Aunt Joe or your uncle, whoever, or Susie down the road says, oh, I don't like the cover, I think you should change it. The answer is no. My next question would be, and Aron knows this because he got asked this question, his mother asked him to say the same thing. How many books have you published? And this person has none. But yet he's an authority on the cover for Aron's book. And the next question was, you need to get a professional to do it. Well, guess what? We're professionals here. Aron is a professional. He's a professional artist. He's commissioned before. We are professionals here. There ain't
You forgot
You
about
told
that,
her
didn't
about
you?
that.
There ain't nothing amateur about this group of people. Trust me.
No, All three of us have been paid to do what we do.
Exactly.
And this is something that I drive home quite a lot since I learned it. There are 95, in a room of 100 people, there may be 95 who say, I want to write a book. 5 of them, 1%, actually follow through on it.
And you
The
did.
fact that you have followed through and you've got your book, you know, I could see you being disheartened if you got your book published, it's put on Amazon, and it sits there. I mean, some of my books, I have 18.
Some of
Some of them have never sold a single copy. But that's okay.
Well, they
because
sold
they
one
will.
too. But in due time. Everything is
Yeah.
in due time.
But his book was jumping off the shelves
got a
before
great
it was
phrase.
ever released.
Yes, it was.
And
And
he's
it,
got people wanting to buy it wholesale. He's got his employers are wanting to promote him. It's
I think that's kind
unbelievable
of a
to me
dual
how
thing.
fast his book is moving.
do what, Aaron?
I think the employer thing is more of a, if we support our employees internally, it's going to look better optics wise.
Well, you're not wrong. That's good HR.
And I'm
And
not gonna fault
HR
them for
is
it.
nothing short of PR, really and truly.
Exactly.
HR is internal PR. And if anybody doesn't know what HR and PR means, I can't remember what HR means, but PR is
Human.
public relations.
Human resources.
Human resources.
Resources.
So, you know, it's just a matter of, yes, it's good business. But the fact that you have, now I've forgotten, do you work for a company of 2,500 or 4,500?
Oh, we're the company that I work for, which is Old Castle Infrastructure, is a Florida branch of a much larger company. And it's a huge industry. We do infrastructure and concrete and all that. And
All
it's
right,
a
I'm going to do
very,
what I do best. I'm going to look it up.
yeah, that would be,
All right. So, Aaron, when your mother finally convinced you that this needed to be your new home, so to speak, and you came on board, probably kicking and screaming like one of our other authors did, and you are now seeing what is happening within the company and with you personally, as well as the other authors. What is your honest take on where you are now?
honestly, I have no idea what to expect or what to have expected when I finished. This is a failing, a personal failing or a personal strength. I don't know. I operate almost exclusively on instinct and vibes. If the vibes are right, then it's right. If they're wrong, they're wrong. And I don't know how I've survived 40 plus years living that way. But
That's why you have survived, my friend. Because as a former bounty hunter, if I did not trust my gut, I'd be dead.
Yeah. I have the
I am-
answer.
okay,
Old Castle is a Fortune 500 company. They have more than 4,000 employees in about 2,000 locations.
yeah, they're huge.
So
I
for
knew it was a
your,
huge company.
for if they even announce you one time in their newsletter,
There you go.
that's a big deal.
Yeah, so they ran that past the my manager said he would run it up the chain of command to see if they wanted to put it in the newsletter, because it does have absolutely nothing to do with infrastructure or concrete or anything that we do, but it is kind of a, hey, it's
Look
it's
what
like
our
saying this guy had a
employees are
baby.
doing.
Yeah.
It's an
It just-
attaboy.
But also,
Yes.
Matt, think about this. apparently where you actually were, your physical location, I'm guessing from what you've told me, you're the only person there who has published a book.
As far as I know, yeah.
And that's a big deal.
And
Because
if
like I
anybody
said,
else,
huh?
if anybody else has published a book, they are much quieter about it than I am.
And you're quiet enough.
I don't know. I have told every person that I share a language with that I have written a book.
Good.
And that it is published.
All right, now let me ask. I'm going to throw this question out because I ask this to every new author that we get, because I remember how I felt when I held my first book in my hand, when I published my first book 20 years ago. When I sent you that email and said you were going live on February 28th, did you feel like dancing in the streets?
I still am not. I can't even process it at this point because it has been such a long time coming. It feels. So I have always had this vague feeling that the other shoe's going to drop. For some reason, no matter what is going on in my life, if there is something good going, I'm always waiting for that other shoe to drop. And it doesn't make any sense because I'm barefoot. But I'm always waiting for that other shoe or for something, for the bottom to fall out or something.
You wait until you've got that book in your hand.
Yeah. Well,
This
I've already.
one was 40 years in the making. The very first story that I wrote about that was when you were 2 years old.
Wow.
And you went off by yourself.
So, Aron, what I tell all of my authors is this, and you will notice that I am always putting up positive reinforcement on our Midnight Publishing page, because as artists, we have that little self-saboteur that sits on our shoulder, and it can be in the form of other people, or it can be our subconscious going, you just don't get too comfortable. Just don't. So what I'm going to tell you is this: do not allow tomorrow's perceived worries to destroy your happiness today.
I 100% agree with that. You say a little personal demon telling you to not get comfortable. I think mine is about the size of a house, and it sits right on my back all the time.
But we're going to get rid of that little sucker. Because
Matt, isn't that one of the reasons you called the suicide hotline?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the anxiety and the feeling that nothing would ever get better. It was always going to be this way.
And hasn't it gotten better?
100,000%. 100,000%. It took a lot for me to understand.
Just give yourself 2 months, 60 days.
Just breathe.
Mm-hmm.
In 60 days, you're going to get your first royalty check from those books that sold. You sold
Sadly,
8 books in one day, son.
That's crazy. I think about it, and so my brother's wife, my sister-in-law, she took a picture of the 2 books when she got them, and she's like, "You ready to sign these?" And she sent me a text of,
I want to see that picture.
Okay, yeah, I'll send it. I'll share it to you. But
it should be on your social media. That picture needs to be on social media. My sister-in-law got her books, and she's waiting for my signature.
Well, so my friend in South Carolina, my friend in a different part of South Carolina, and my sister-in-law all sent me pictures of them holding.
Put it up on your page so that we can see
every single picture you get like that needs to be a social media post.
It seems so strange to think, oh, well, I can use this for social media, but they sent it to
Everything
me.
can
So
be used for social media. Everything can be used for
Marketing.
marketing.
It's marketing.
yes,
You've
But
been
to look
watching
at
what
it-
I put out there, right? I've seen
oh
you.
yes, yeah.
And when I can, I can take the slightest nugget and turn it into gold as far as marketing goes.
Well, it's so.
Surreal.
It still feels so surreal to see my name on a book that someone else is holding. And they're like, hey, I got your book. And I'm like, thanks, that's awesome, I appreciate it. And in the back of my mind, I'm screaming, that's not real. That's not real. How did you do that?
Magic.
But they didn't do it. I did.
You did
Well,
it.
you know
You
what
guys helped me.
what I love.
You trusted the process, Aaron, and you trusted me. And that means a lot.
His very
Because
first review on Amazon was, I don't think it was more than 10 words long. Guy said, I love this book. It's like Mad Max with magic and interesting characters. I love, and that's what I put on your bookmarks. Mad Max with magic.
Which is kind of right, but very not enough, if that makes sense.
so let's talk about Phage. Ladies and gentlemen, the name of his book is Man of Phage. The backstory, before I turn him over to talk about his characters, is this guy wakes up in a cryogenic lab, in a cryogenic chamber, and ain't nobody there but him and a centipede. Pick it up, Aaron.
Not just a centipede.
Yeah.
Centipedes are this long.
Yeah. So when he wakes up, he has the memories of before for about half a second. All he could remember was that he was used for violence. And then immediately, all of his memories are erased in the process of him waking up before he can even get out of the cryo tube. So he starts in this world as a blank slate. And I did that on purpose because I wanted to show. So Phage is not the main character of the book. He is the point of view character. He is just the window into which we see the world. And to me, it made more sense to have a blank slate character than one who has, this whole history that he has to remember through flashbacks and all this stuff. But now he can learn about the world and himself as the story progresses. And so he's bewildered, he's confused, but he has instincts. And his instincts lead him to, 1, stop being naked, and 2, find a weapon. Because that's what he is. He is a weapon. He doesn't even know what phage means. All he knows is on the cryogenic tube, or on the bed, there is a Project PHAGE. So he goes, phage, that's a good enough name. And in the room there are, I can't even remember the number now, 17 other identical copies of him.
He was 18th, I think.
Yeah, he was one of 18 that were physically identical to him, all dead, all in various states of decomposition. All of them were in cryogenic tubes as well. And now he has to explore this facility that is flooded and ancient. And he doesn't know how long he's been asleep. He doesn't know where he is, who he is. And it's just him trying to survive in this situation and figure everything out. But that's the kind of the broad strokes of the story. Then it becomes more about world exploration, discovering what his motivations are, even though we all know what our motivations usually are. Like, you're hungry, you eat. He doesn't know anything at all. He questions every decision that he makes because, why would he care about these captives that he sees in this transport? Why does that affect him the way that it does? And he still has some flashes of his previous memories, but they're fragmented and confused. So he's got a driving force, he just doesn't know what it is. And in the process of helping these captives, he encounters a group of, I don't like the term ragtag, but another group of
Misfits.
people out in the desert.
They're
Misfits,
misfits.
yeah.
Yeah.
They catch his attention, and he doesn't quite trust them yet. But he develops some sort of connection to them over time, and it's not until he can successfully, because he gave his word to the captives. He told them, "I'll get you home." He doesn't know where their home is. He doesn't know how far away it is, how difficult it's going to be, but he said, "I'll get you home." So until he can fulfill that promise, he has resolved to see this task through before he does anything else for himself. And that's about as much as I want to give away for free.
And I don't blame you. But
What I find interesting is that he displays all these characteristics of a human, such as integrity, and he's got no reason to.
Yeah.
And he could be a real jerk, and nobody would care because he's just this random guy.
And nobody would really know how to counteract it.
no, because
Because
he's a weapon.
he's a weapon. He is a biological living weapon. But that's not what he wants to be. That's just how he was made.
So, ladies and gentlemen, when I tell you from someone that stopped reading science fiction after Roddenberry, because after wading through his books, it was like watching paint dry.
Roddenberry's very dry.
Oh.
He's great. He's got a lot of great ideas.
But he
But he
doesn't.
needs Hollywood to fix them.
He doesn't flesh his characters out. He doesn't flesh the plot out. He doesn't add layers to a story. And this is what Aron has done with Maniphage. This is why I was so excited to get this book out there. Because when he tells me that one of the big says, "Oh, it doesn't meet our formula," I laugh at him. Of course it doesn't. Because it's excellent writing.
Thank you.
They don't want excellent writers. They want cookie cutters. We don't have cookie cutters here at Midnight Publishing. Every one of our authors are as unique and as different as the books they write, and that's the way we like it.
We might not appeal to a mass audience, and that's half the issue. The publishers are trying to make money.
That's all they want.
You make money by appealing to the most amount of people.
Well, we appeal to the
The
masses.
lowest common denominator.
Lowest common denominator,
We
exactly.
appeal to the masses, but we also appeal to those who have probably never even picked up a sci-fi book before, because we make it interesting. We make them want to read that book just by having conversations like this. Remember when I said we have to have a hook, and it's not
Yes.
the same old drab, Susie Q went to Colorado and she met Joe Blow, and boy meets girl and girl meets boy, and there's conflict, and girl leaves boy and then boy goes to find girl and it's happily ever after. That's not a story.
Agreed.
No, his ending is amazing because it's not a happy ever after ending.
Well, it's not an ending. It's a pause until I finish. the
It's
next
a
one.
page turner is what it is.
I'm going to tell you something, Aron. When my husband was alive, he got hooked on Game of Thrones. I didn't even know who George R. R. Martin was until I went out there. I said, "What are you watching?" And he told me, and I went, "Okay, I'm going to look this up." So I looked it up. I ordered the books. I read every one of his books. I couldn't stop. So then I would have to sit out there and explain to my husband the meat that they had left out of the Red Wedding. He goes,
Yeah.
"What happened?" And I had to explain to him the backstory. Well, that's what you have done for me with Manifest. You have made me think of R.R. Martin because he had layers in his book,
Yes.
and you have layers.
I just got to make sure that I don't, get 4 books in and then stop writing before it's over. You need to get it done.
Don't worry tomorrow's trouble. Just enjoy the
True.
ride today.
Well, see, that's something. Speaking of just enjoying things, I was getting a little stressed out because, like you said, trust the process. You had the cover situation, and I have a friend of mine who was like, "You need to commission somebody. You need to get a new artwork. You need to do this. You need to," and so conflicting information. I respect him a lot. I have a lot of love and respect for this man, but trigger was pulled. The book's going out there. You telling me to do this now isn't going to happen because I'm not going to pull it and change it. And maybe later, after it's gone through the first year or two, I might commission a new book. Maybe. Or if I do an Audible, I might commission a book for the Audible cover. But I was feeling stressed out by everything until I was like, wait, okay, so I don't want to do the marketing. I don't want to think about all the processes that need to happen to make a book happen. I just want to make my little stories. I want to put my little guys in situations and see how they get out of it. That's all I want to do.
And that's all you
Well, yeah,
should do.
But you can't sell books that way. You can write books all day. I could have books for days just sitting on my hard drive, but I couldn't sell any. I couldn't get them out there.
Do you know the difference between a writer and an author?
No.
A writer writes all the time. They can have 1,000 novels, like you said, sitting on your hard drive. An author gets published.
And the thing that we do here is we make your marketing so simple. Because all I do, I give you the tools. All you have to do is share it. When you're on, just share it. That's all you have to do. Because I go and build it all for you guys and tag y'all in it and just say share, 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 share.
Mm-hmm.
It's so much easier. Like, I was very concerned when talking about social media and stuff because I do not like social media. I don't like being on it. I don't like dealing with it.
But you're the brand.
And I was like, I don't know how to do this. But then there's all these that all I have to do is click and share.
Yep.
Like it, share it. Like it, share it. And it's like so much easier doing that. And that did alleviate a lot of my stress and let me get back to the mind space of just putting my little guys in situations.
And what you have to also remember, Aaron, is you are the brand. Your
Oh,
book is the product. No, seriously, you're the brand. I knew we were going to have this conversation. You are the brand. I am the brand. Your mom is the brand. Your book is your product. And when the public can't see the brand, they don't trust the product. Case in point, and we've talked about this ever since Super Bowl. Anheuser-Busch has been around since forever and a day, amen. Their brand is the Dalmatian, the Eagle, and the Clydesdales. The Eagle is on the logo, right smack dab in the middle of the Anheuser-Busch. The Clydesdales have been pulling that wagon for years. So when they did the Super Bowl commercial, They didn't have to put any words with that commercial. Everybody knew who it was without anything on it, without Budweiser, without anything. They knew who it was. We want people to know, if we say the book Maniphage, people know who it is. It's you. They don't have to say your name. They know who it is. And that's why I said, put on your big boy panties and get on social media, because that's where it starts. And it's important.
Yeah.
Just like
That's
tonight.
the world we live in today.
It is.
Yeah, it is.
I'm going to tell you, when I started in 2006, there was no social media. My first social media page was MySpace. There were no websites. There was nowhere to publish my book except Lulu. But I'm stubborn. I'd already been dicked around by publishers and agents and everybody under God's little green acre. And it was important that I get that particular book out, because I knew someday I was not going to be here, my parents weren't going to be here, my siblings weren't going to be here, and nobody was going to remember who that book was about. And it was important. So I said, watch this. As we say in the South, hold my beer and watch this. Take no for an answer lightly. And so I said, okay, if Lulu's my only option, then I go with Lulu till something better comes along. Because I'm getting it out there. And then I started looking for places to put my stuff. Because I'm the brand. My dad taught me well. My dad was in business for himself for years and years and years and years. And he said, you're the brand. What I do is the product. And that's why it is important that we have this conversation, because after this is over with, I take little clips and I put them up there, and everybody's going to go say, "Ooh, yeah, I got to go see what that's all about."
And that's why we have over 4 million views on our YouTube channel.
With 120 countries.
That's crazy to think.
750 as of today. We're on YouTube. We're on YouTube TV.
That is why I think to myself on a daily basis that I am incredibly lucky. I never used to think I was lucky, but I've never been lucky in the sense of getting the things that I want. Like, I've been lucky in the sense of, it's not until I look back and I go, oh, if that hadn't happened and that hadn't happened and that hadn't happened, I wouldn't be where I am now,
Exactly.
Which is in a great place that I wasn't expecting to be in.
God's got a plan.
Yeah, I just gotta trust it.
See, it wasn't meant for you to be anywhere but here at this particular moment in time. You had to go through everything you went through to be able to appreciate where you are now.
I agree with that.
And
I had
will
to get
say
turned
this,
down.
the book that you wrote and submitted 10 years ago is not the book that's out there now.
No, definitely not. It's not even close. Not in quality, not in context, not in character growth.
It's good. It's a good book, and it's mediocre. It's mediocre.
Well, and let's look at it from this perspective too, guys. It took that rejection to make you more well-rounded.
Yes.
I had to go through a few more things, and I had to experience more things and make some decisions that I never thought that I'd make again, and just do things that I wasn't planning or thinking that I would do.
Letting things go. Letting things
go.
That was a hard
That's
one
so
for
tough.
me. It was just
It
to
was.
let it go.
She told you about the time we were at lunch and she was whining and complaining. I told her, just stop. Just send me the
I was
books. Just
spiraling
stop.
out of control is what I was doing.
He goes, what? People were looking at. I said, just stop, because there's an old adage that goes, when you're on your deathbed, you don't want to be saying shoulda, woulda, coulda.
No.
Yeah. There is a hip hop artist that I have been listening to recently called Prof. And he has a line that says, "This is the youngest I'll ever be."
Exactly.
And it's true.
And that line catches me off guard because he'll use it in a couple of different songs. And if I'm listening to it at work, I go, wow, this is the youngest I'll ever be. I need to do things if I want to have things done.
If you want to die with your bucket list empty, everything crossed off, you can't wait until you're 90.
Right. You got... And this is what I tell Mary all the time. It's what I tell all the authors. I have a very deep faith. And I am a firm believer that we know God has no timeline. He doesn't have a 24-hour day. He doesn't care. And everything happens in God's time. And this was God's time for you. Because you are surrounded by people that love you, that you don't even know, that support you and that hold you up. And I guarantee you, if you start having a I'm all up in my feelings moment, you're going to have a whole bunch of white women, young and old, going, not today, Satan, it ain't happening, and tomorrow don't look good either.
Gwendolyn will be right in the front of that line with her hands on her hips.
Because we protect those in this family. And when you start getting spammers and predators and people trying to be that little inner saboteur that's trying to stay on your back, you just send them to me, because I eat them for lunch. I enjoy it.
You're going to start getting emails from people. Yeah, you'll start getting emails from people telling you how great your book is, but they can make it better.
$99, we can do this for you. And my publisher already does it.
You know what your answer should be? First of all, I would just ignore them.
I do.
But if you don't want to ignore them, say, thank you, my publisher handles all of my publicity.
I have been getting a lot of verified phone calls from all over the place. And I'm just like, I don't recognize the number. I don't recognize you. You don't have a name on there. Leave me a voicemail. They never leave me a voicemail.
Nope.
So I don't bother with it.
Nope.
If it's important, they'll come knock on my door.
Or they'll leave you a voicemail.
Yeah, or they'll leave me a voicemail.
And as you sell, as you get more and more out there, you will be getting these emails. The other day, Kara sent me an email. She says, I've arrived. She said, I got my first spam email. And she said, my publisher handles all my paid marketing. But that's, ladies and gentlemen, that's what happens. And if my authors aren't careful, they can get caught up in that moment, because these people are slick as owl poop.
Oh, yes.
They are so slick. They will convince you that the sun is purple.
I got an email today from J.K. Rowling.
Oh,
Wow.
how nice.
That's email.
How nice.
Not J.K.K. Rowling, like her real name is. And not at jkkrowling.com, which would be her actual email address. I've gotten emails from David Balducci,
That's nice.
Reese Witherspoon. I can't remember all of them, but I get all these fancy names from people, and they just want to talk to me, author to author. They just want to have a conversation. They admire my work so much, but they can't tell me any of the books that I've written. They just, and that, they say, I want to talk to you. And I entertained this the first time. I followed it through to see where it went. And after about 3, maybe 4 emails, they hit me with a sales pitch. I'm sorry, none of these best-selling authors, and we'll talk about that in a minute, how you get on a bestseller list. You actually are Matt. I keep calling him Matt. I'm going to have to learn to call him Aaron. He's been Matt to me since before he was born.
I think I was Matt to her before I was Aaron.
You probably were.
You were.
Aaron was the name.
I took one look at you and I said, that's Matt. I just knew it. But
Well, see, also, Aaron was my paternal name. I think you were the one who named me my middle name.
yeah.
Because Dad wanted to pass on the Aaron, the Aron, Aaron.
Not 2 A's, has to be 1.
Yep.
Not sure
The
why
Aaron.
that is.
And it's
Or
unique.
when that changed in the family, but that's a family thing. But
I
yeah,
know that.
these.
I only know of
these-
one other single Aaron. That's the guy who, in 27 hours, who had to cut his arm off. The one who got trapped in the chasm.
Yeah, in the crevasse of the
Yeah.
mountains.
He is a single A Aaron.
I did not
well.
realize that.
Yep.
See, ladies and gentlemen, we just take a different path. We don't know where we're going to go. This is why our shows are not scripted, because it's no fun if they. I'm sorry, we have to get back to this. Yeah, and you were saying no, it's not scripted. Johnny,
But what I was going to say about him, my son, being on a bestsellers list, is you're the 3rd highest seller for Midnight Publishing.
Believe me, I am telling everyone that will listen to me about that too.
Good.
Good.
You're already a best-selling author, and you haven't gotten your first copy yet, because Amazon does not rush the author copies out. It will rush them to your sister-in-law and to your friends in South Carolina who order print copies. But they do not rush the print to the authors, and the hardback to the authors take even longer. It takes about a week longer than the paperbacks.
And what when you get ready to order, let me know, because then I pop you over an invoice. When the invoice gets paid, then I go, okay, let's finish this out, and I will give you a delivery date, and I track it because it comes into my email.
I think my main concern is the fact that I live in an apartment complex, and I want to make sure that I get those. Well, granted, if they go to somebody else, that other person is going to be reading my book, but I still want it. I want it. I don't want to just give it away to people, but
Check with your leasing office and ask them how packages are handled.
There you go.
They might have them delivered to the office, or you might can get them delivered to your office, and then you pick them up after work.
You can give me any address to have them drop shipped to.
You can have them drop shipped to your brother's house. You can go rent a post office box.
that's something I probably need to do. Get a post office box.
Yeah.
There are options.
Be a real grown adult at 45. That's no fun, though.
Now,
We're not.
Mary touched on being on the bestseller list. We have our own bestseller list here at Midnight Publishing, and that is because our authors deserve to be recognized. Every one of our authors is the only author that I have. It's like my children. I have 20 some odd authors, and I'm getting more every day. Today I put up 2 books and was going to put up the 3rd, and the graphic she sent me doesn't work, so now she got to send me another one. But each author is the only author that I have. Each author is treated like they're the only author that I have. They're all very special to me. So at the end of the month, we take the top 5 highest sellers, and those are our best sellers for the month. It doesn't delineate from the fact that our other authors have sold books, and that changes. To get on the New York Times bestseller list, you buy your way on, one way.
Heard that.
2, the publishers send a list to whatever bookstores are out there now, and the managers check off who they want to be on the bestseller list. It's not amount of books sold. It is not the total amount of books sold.
It's the total amount of books they want sold.
Exactly. It is a perverted, purchased conglomeration, which is a joke. I would rather my authors be on our bestseller list if they were the top seller with 5 books that month. And you know why? Because we sell one book at a time. I don't care if our authors sell one book in a month. They're successful.
Selling books. They're
Exactly.
getting out there.
Exactly. One book at a time.
We're in a very small demographic and percentage of people that have actually published books. I mean, there's a lot of books out there in the world. There are 45 million titles on Amazon alone at last estimate, because that title that's always being increased.
Yes.
I mean, there's 45 million and two, according to Yvonne. She just put 2 books up there today.
Yeah.
But of that 45 million, that number comes from a much larger pool of people. And there are still people beyond that haven't gotten as far as putting, this is my story and this is the way I want it to go, down on paper.
What hurts me, and Aaron, I'm on social media all the time. I watch a group that I refuse to be a part of, and what hurts me is when I see an author, a new author, go, well, I published my book, but they're not selling. What do? Nobody can help them. I see, oh, keep trying. Keep trying what? Standing on my head? Selling my firstborn? Giving blood at the office? What? Because they don't understand they are the brand. They have to sell themselves before they can ever sell their product. They have to make people want to buy that product, because just like you talking about Phage, now people are going to go, ooh, I need to go see what that's all about. And he's already on the 2nd book. Ooh, I need to go see what that's all about. They don't know what they don't know.
Agreed. Yep. You never. I was talking to another friend of mine who is a big reader on Royal Road, which is a whole thing I never knew was a thing, where people upload chapters of books on a daily basis. I'm like, well, that sounds great, but
They're not getting
there's
paid.
no way I can keep up. I couldn't even keep up with going, okay, here's my new chapter, put it up there. I can't keep constantly doing it. I need to do it all at once and shove it out there.
And move
do it
on
all
to
at
the
once
next.
and shove it out there.
And that is what a true author does. Those folks that put up a chapter a day, they don't have the courage, the fortitude, the tenacity to do an entire book and put it out there for the masses, because they're only reaching a small audience.
What happens if they do 15 chapters and decide to quit?
Yeah, then they run out. Then the book never finishes.
Exactly.
I think a lot of it is, like you said, confidence. They put the chapters up on these forum sites and these web novel venues so that people can give them feedback, because that's part of it. They can go, well, hey, this doesn't make sense with this, and if your magic system does that, then how does this happen? And because I'm guilty of it. I will always second guess things that I've done and things that I've thought up. Like you said, this is a very layered book that I've written. Layers are easy to get lost in if you don't keep track of things.
They are.
And I've had to go back and make sure that the day before I sent the final polished copy, I was going through it like, okay, did I get all of my ducks in a row? Is that the right caliber for that particular gun? You know what? No, it's not. I went back and I changed something the day before I sent it out, and then I was like, I hope it's good enough now.
Honey,
I'm done. I gotta go. I gotta let it go.
it was more than good enough.
There is a point
I'm
where you
sorry.
have to just stop.
Just stop.
Nope. I used to do a lot of physical art. I used to draw, and I did digital drawings. And that was the hardest part for me, was just saying, it's done. Because I would always, there's something else that needs to be changed. There's something else that needs to be adjusted. It's not done yet. It needs this, it needs that. And, sometimes you just gotta stop.
And that's why a lot of writers never publish. Because there's two reasons. One, their self-confidence is in the toilet. And two, they don't want to let it go because it's not good enough for them. Well, what they don't understand is there's a whole world of people out there. And while not every book is for everybody, there is a book for everybody.
Yeah. Agreed.
And if you don't take a chance by letting it go, you'll never know. And your mother and I were talking the other day about my true crimes. I write true crime, and my true crime is not for the faint of heart.
It's not for me.
Oh, it is not. It is raw. It is in your face. It is from a police procedure perspective. It is bloody. It is nasty. And I had some guy tell me I need to rewrite it because he didn't like the way I wrote it. And I said, I'm sorry, that book's not for you.
You don't like it? Tough.
Get your money back.
That's something that I'm trying to come to grips with, is my book's not going to be for everybody, but it's going to be for some people.
Yeah.
And those people that it's going to be for, they have people that they know it's going to be for.
Exactly.
And it's really going to be for them.
And that's the perspective you have to keep in mind. And
There are some people who will buy it because they know you, like your coworker.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
And it's not that he's buying a book because he knows you. He's buying a book and wants to buy a dozen books so he can give them away and say, I know this guy.
Yeah.
And that is how you get your fans.
They tell three people who tell three people who tell three. You're going to have people you don't even know. And ladies and gentlemen, this is something else that Midnight Publishing is very proud of. This publishing house has been in business since June of 2024. All because
Not yet 2 years.
my publisher died. We are an international publishing house. In other words, our books are sold all over the world. How many authors can say their books were sold in Italy, their books were sold in Japan, their books are in England, their books are in Germany and Denmark? Because I guarantee you, other houses, if that happens, they don't talk about it. We brag
I've never
about
heard it.
We brag about it all the time. YouTube.
I've heard of international bestsellers, but they always say translated into this many different languages.
And we do have two books or three that have been translated. You've got 2 books translated to French, right?
One.
Yvonne?
I
One?
have Silent Scream. They paid me, the publisher in France paid me to be able to translate my book in France and sell it in France. And you want to talk about a humbling experience. This was after this book had been out there for several years, and a producer from France came over and interviewed me for a documentary because his wife had been killed by a serial killer. and he wanted
Wow.
to understand serial killers. I am an expert on serial killers. So that was the beginning of being on television internationally and nationally. Well, then several years later, a publishing house in France contacted me and said, we would like to translate your book in French and sell it over here, and we're willing to pay you. And they paid me well.
That's awesome.
Didn't
Could be
one
30
of
seconds. I'll be right
Carol's
back.
books get
Excuse me.
translated?
Alta Desinoid's book is in French.
Also. Okay.
I've got to get that book cover up. It's giving me fits. It's on Kindle, but it's not in paperback yet.
Why
Because
is it giving you
I had to
fits?
take it. She didn't like it, so we had to take it down and start all over. Well, when that happened, it messed it all up. But
And if that happened during one of my prolific moments, you got put to the bottom of the pile.
well, she is at the bottom of the pile. I'm in no hurry to get that book up in paperback. I am in no hurry.
Yeah.
It's on Kindle. It'll be on Kindle till I have a minute to deal with it. It will be at the bottom of the pile because I'm sorry.
Well, she doesn't seem to be in a big rush to get things done
But
anyway.
ladies and gentlemen, I am proud of the fact that this house, we're not even 2 years old. And we're international booksellers. That says a lot about our authors. Mary, you froze. Mary, your mother froze.
I say that.
She just froze. I don't know where she is. Mary, you froze, honey.
I know.
That's
I
'cause
can't do anything about it.
She can't unfreeze, so we get there. She. I don't know why she's freezing.
We were talking, remember we were talking earlier about Amazon outage?
Yes.
And we were talking about how if our internet is hosted in a foreign country
Yep.
or, I don't know, South Carolina, in a moment's notice, something can happen to our internet. And that I've gotten the message that I have a slow connection. I have high-speed dial-up that we pay dearly for, but I freeze from time to time.
Mine does that too, and I spend quite a bit on my internet because I do the podcast as well, so I
Yeah.
have to have decent internet to do that, and it just goes slow, unstable connection is what it says for me.
That's what
I
mine
found out something very interesting about internet. A lot of international internet, like if you have it going across from country, if you're being supplied, the cables run
Underwater.
the ocean, and sharks, because they have a sensor in their nose for picking up electrical signals, are very enamored with chewing on underwater internet cables.
That's
Interesting.
interesting.
Yep. So
That
they
is
just,
interesting. I like that.
if your internet goes out, it might be sharks.
See, we learn something new every day.
I'm gonna have to revise my Sharks Bite and Writers Right book.
They also
I kinda
like
wanna
internet cable.
Yeah.
I kind of want that on a t-shirt. If your internet goes out, it might be sharks.
Might be sharks. So, just as a teaser, just because we're that kind of people, the second book, is it a because I know there's something at the end of the first book. I'm not telling you, ladies, and don't go buy the book. Matter of fact, by Aron
Go buy my
M
book.
Frakes. Yeah, that word I can't pronounce. Go buy the book. But anyway, does it continue with Phaesia's discovery of self along with the other characters that I've fallen in love with?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It is a direct continuation of the story. And in my mind, this would be, if I had my choosing, I would not have put this book out until it was 5,000 pages long.
Nobody
And it
can
would just
afford
be
that.
home, because it's one story, and it's going to continue until that story reaches its fulfillment.
That's
Meet
what
George
George
Martin.
Martin did with Game of Thrones.
Martin II.
Yeah.
I don't. So this is. I've got the second book. I have the initial story outlined, so that I know where it's going to go, where it's going to end, and some of the things that happen in between. I still have to flesh all that out, and then I have an idea for what the main story of book 3 is going to be, and book 4 is vague, but I'm pretty sure I know where it's going to. But I'm not entirely sure of how far each character is going to progress within each book to determine how evolved they become by book 4.
Welcome
That-
to our world of the characters in our head telling us what to do.
Yes,
That is not
very much
something
so.
he inherited from me. I don't write that way.
I didn't think I did either, but these guys won't shut up.
Huh?
Welcome to our world. I don't know if your mother told you, but the first time that I wrote about drag queens was the Pink Canary, and I have a friend now because she's a queen, and she was the only one that reached back when I reached out to make sure I was in the right culture. Well, my 3 queens won't shut up. They want to be in every book I write now. And I tell them, it's not your turn. And they say, watch this. So hold my beer and watch this. So I understand. I get it.
From what I understand, I have a friend of mine who he used to work in a restaurant that hosted a drag brunch. And from what I understand, queens never shut up
They don't.
because they're queens.
They're queens.
Listen.
They don't shut
When
up.
they speak, you listen. But yeah,
They
so
don't. They
Those
don't.
queens have never met the goddess, but that's a
They
whole
don't
other story.
cuss. Their cuss word is Mary.
Exactly. I know.
Oh, Mary. But they're hysterical. And see, 2 of my queens are real. One of them is one of my best friends. He's
That's
the
Vicky.
comedic routine in the bunch. And the other one is the queen that helped me get into the culture, right? And the greatest compliment I ever got on a review was, I'm only halfway through with this book, but it is the best drag queen book I have ever read. She got us.
Nice. Well, see, I just listen to dead children.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what to tell you. Your mother and I are strange, Aaron. I'm going to tell you. We are. That's why we
He
get
knows
along.
that about me.
We are
trust me,
strange.
I know. One of the main reasons that I fought and pushed so hard to finish this book was because Mom had a heart attack. And I said, I have to publish this book before she dies. I have to finish this story before she
But
dies.
she ain't dying anytime soon because we got a lot of things
No.
to do.
I still have a lot of books to write, and
Yeah,
I
but
haven't
I
told
have a
you
lot
this.
of books to write too of this story, so I've got to get through them. I got to get started.
Yvonne, Ramonda has been sending me little telegrams.
Dear, what does she want you to do now?
I'm not really sure. I think she wants to write a complete fiction novel.
Okay. Right.
I'm like, okay, honey, if you come through, I'll stop everything and I'll work with you.
Ramonda is my 13-year-old granddaughter that died from an asthma attack. And she died in 2015. And one day, Mary and I were doing the podcast, and we were talking about Sally's heart, and we were talking about that Ramonda's story needed to be told because children between the ages of 12 and 15, the children that are those ages, the highest thing they die from is an asthma attack. That is the leading cause of death in children between 12 and 15. And we were just discussing that I wanted her story out there because she was an organ donor, and she just left a great legacy. Well, the next thing I know, this one's done a graphic novel that we put together in about a week. Because Ramonda said, hey, I'm here. Right.
She woke me up. I mean, I woke up one morning and she's standing at the foot of my bed, and I'm like, I know we didn't have a sleepover last night. Who are you? And
She was like, I heard y'all was talking about me.
pretty much, she just said, I'm Ramonda. Come on, we've got a book to write. Okay.
And that's Brandy. That was Brandy's little girl. So you see, this family, this Midnight Publishing family, has so many working parts, and that's why we're all so connected. Because it's greater than the whole is greater than each individual part.
Yeah.
God has brought us all together for a reason. Basically, Gwendolyn told me, "Oh, Mary, this book I just put up for her, I almost cried all the way through it."
The Gwendolyn Part 2?
Yes, Gwendolyn 2.0, because some of the things she said about Midnight Publishing literally saved her life.
Wow.
When we put out September's Chill, that we literally saved her life. Because, yeah.
It helped her.
I got chill bumps thinking
heal.
about it. And look at your story, Aaron. Look at the journey you were on. And where you had to go, and all the things you went through, and where you are now. This is why I tell you, ladies and gentlemen, this is a God-given publishing house. I have no control. I'm just a vessel. I just do what he tells me to do, and I don't argue. The only thing we won't write is erotica, and there's a real cute story I have to tell on Aaron about this. This is so funny. In the book, there's a character, and she's a character, and Aaron was afraid I wasn't publishing because of this particular character. Well, she's funny as all get out. I love her. But she's a character. And
Brassy and sassy.
she is sassy. And his mama said, no, because it's not in your face. We don't publish erotica. And erotica is in your face. It is unnecessary.
It's a how-to
Gratuitous.
manual.
It's porn on wheels. I don't need that in my life. What the character in Aaron's book is she's just a hot mess. But she's a classy hot mess. And I've grown to love her. I can't wait to see what she does next.
She is actually one of my favorite characters to have written, and she's one of those that will not shut up because she has things to say, she has things she wants to do, and she wants me to make sure they get done.
And they
See,
will, or you'll go insane.
Yeah, exactly. I've had to tell people, like, I've had to say, sorry, my brain is not with this right now. It's halfway in my world.
There you go.
And I never thought that was a selling point to be a space cadet and, to live in an imaginary world, but
We do all day long.
I've been doing it since I was a kid, and apparently that's what I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
Like, Mom, you said that dead kids talk to you. People who don't exist talk to me. I'm not sure which of us is worse.
Well, I have both of them. I have the fictional characters. They're the ones that are there at the window knocking on the mirror, when I'm brushing my teeth. Do you have to brush your teeth for a full 2 minutes? I've got things to do. Ramonda, well, most of the dead people, and they're not even dead. They're, if you think of spirits as being alive, Ramonda's certainly not dead. I mean, her spirit is very much alive. And all the people that I wrote about in my angel books, they're real encounters. And maybe I didn't see them, and maybe I don't know their names, but like with Ramonda, it's a very imperative urgency. You have to tell the story. You have to do it now.
She's a little, she's pushy.
That came true.
But you also
Such a
got to
little girl.
remember, but also, Mary, the backstory to that, at that time, we didn't know if her dad was going to die on the table or not.
Yes, Her father, when I was writing her story, her father was going through surgery. And Ramonda and I worked together for a solid 8 hours, just bam, 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 bam. And it would happen to be a day that Curtis was working from home. So he made sure I ate throughout that day. Otherwise, I wouldn't have left my computer. And the next day, and I knew I wasn't finished with the book, but I couldn't go any farther because I didn't know what I was doing. And the next day she just disappeared. And I'm like, well, I would give you the book, but it's not done and I don't know what to do with it. And she said, well, you know, John's in the hospital right now. I'm like, oh. The day after that, Ramonda came back. She said, I'm back now. I was with my daddy. And you could have been in both places at once if you wanted to, but she didn't want to. So she said, all right, now, let's talk about Christian. I have to tell you about Christian. I'm like,
That's a
You know
word.
what? Sometimes it is that breaks are necessary. I had to be reminded of that the other day because I was sitting there kicking myself because I didn't write but maybe 120 words that day.
It's okay.
But it was like, hey, I just published a book. That's 431 pages that I just finished. Maybe take it. Oh, and I just finished 5 chapters of the next book.
Take a break.
It's okay to
Yeah.
veg out for a little bit in front of the TV.
Absolutely. And I want to say one thing about this for anybody else who's listening. If you try to query with an agent or you try to reach out to a publisher who doesn't need an agent, they're going to ask you, how many words does your book have? How many pages long is your book? And they expect it to be a certain length. They expect your sci-fi, your fantasy to be in excess of 80,000 words. They expect your other fiction. Because I remember, I think it might have been Christopher Dunham, who called his book a novella because it wasn't long enough to be a novel. At Midnight Publishing, we do not label your works like that. Now, we do put them under imprints. We have certain imprints for children's books, certain imprints for spiritual, certain for sci-fi, fantasy, whatever, fiction, nonfiction. They all have imprints. I think we have 21 or so.
Like that.
But that doesn't mean that your book must be this long or that short. We don't have that kind of restriction on you. You write your book until you get to the end. And you know, if you are a legitimate writer, there is a point when you know. Do you not, my son, Aaron? You get to
Yes.
a point where you know, okay, I'm done here. Let's move on to the next book. So when you hit that point, if it's 300 pages or 500 pages, if it's 80,000 words or 70,000 words, it doesn't matter.
Matter.
Don't put yourself in a pigeonhole because we're not bird keepers here. We're not pigeon feeders. Write your story, write your book, be true to yourself and be true to your art, and go to Midnight Publishing on Facebook. That's your starting point. And our friend Ann Respall is on there now.
Nice.
She was looking for you and she sent me a picture. She said, is this the right Yvonne Mason? I'm like, yes, that's the one.
So let me.
I just want people to know there's the guidelines on the Facebook page. You can download them. Simple stuff.
The author that is coming out on March the 9th, Kara Benson, she took all of these writing courses, had all of these people telling her how to write, what to expect, the formula, the format, the demographics, yada, 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 yada. And so when she sent me her manuscript, she sent me all of this stuff, and I said, stop. Number one, we don't do demographics here. Because I'm going to
We
tell
don't need your marketing plan.
No, I got a marketing. I know how to market. Got a marketing plan. So when she had dialogue, action, and then the same speaker with dialogue, and the action was in between the dialogue, it was too hard. It was too hard for me to read. If it's too hard for me to read, can you imagine readers out there? They'll say, nope, done. Nope, done. So I said, okay, you have to fix that. She said, well, my professor, who was a publisher, said this was the best way to write. I said, they who can do, those who can't teach. I can guarantee you that publisher never wrote a book in his life. So when, again, we're back to when well-meaning people, including teachers of writing, try to tell you how to write and try to put you in a pigeonhole, tell them to contact me, because our numbers speak for themselves. We don't have
35 books in 6 days?
Yeah. Yeah, no, don't. Just because the book is written, let's take your book, Aron. It's a sci-fi book. It's written from for lack of a better word, from a male point of view.
Mm-hmm.
It has action. It has softness. It has suspense. It has mystery. It has sci-fi. It has magic. Do you think that I'm going to pigeonhole that book as just a sci-fi book? No.
No. I was trying to figure out what it was myself. I was like, what would I put as a
Maybe
subtitle?
we should
from
come up
under
with
the
a
name?
new word for that.
It's an eclectic mixture of the future. Because you have so many different wheels moving in this. The best thing that I can think of to compare it to is Wheel of Time.
That's a big compliment. Wheel of Time is one of my favorite book series.
That's the best thing I can compare it to.
I just listened to the Audible for the third time of all 14 books. I started about a year back. I would just listen to it, kind of drifting off to sleep. Or when I'm cooking dinner or something, I'm like, that's my comfort books.
And Wheel of Time is futuristic. It's filled with all of these layers of subplots. And you can't put Wheel of Time in a niche. It's not it's not a sci-fi, it's not just magic, it's not just a love story, it's not just fighting and wars and killing people. It's not just mystery, it's an eclectic blend of all of that. I mean, we have dramedies with my two books. It's a comedy and a drama. So we'll make up a word because we can do that.
I like the term sci-fantasy.
That's a good one.
That's the term that I think of the most when I think of what my book is.
Fantasy.
So I'm a big fan of Eastern, like cultivation, kung fu, Japanese Bushido thought processes. And so that's why there is key cultivation involved in my story. There is the Chinese fantasy, the Japanese Oni and Tengu, the yokai are involved in my story as well. And I really enjoy that, what I know of that folklore and that flavor of fantasy. So I was going to call it
when he finishes.
Okay.
Keep going.
But I was going to, if I were to put a subtitle, so if it were Manophage, a sci-fantasy cultivation novel, is how I would.
That would never fit on your book cover.
No, it wouldn't. But
I'd be calling you up saying, Aaron, honey, it's got to go bye-bye. I love you, but it's got to go. Don't confuse the reading public.
Well, yeah, and that's another thing. Sometimes it doesn't matter what genre we call it.
right,
Most of my books don't really fit in anything other than, is it for an adult or is it for a child? That's it. I typed into my phone, what kind of book is Manaphage? I didn't ask any more than that. This is what came up. Manaphage by Aron M Frakes is a debut fantasy novel featuring a blend of post-apocalyptic lit RPG and sci-fi elements. It follows a protagonist in a world thousands of years after his own time, focusing on themes of lost technology, rediscovered magic, and in a world where ammunition and mana determine power. That blew my mind. That's an AI answer.
Part of that is in the synopsis of your book, which is the description on the back of the book, as well as in Amazon.
AI grabbed, and it's got more stuff, but it was the first hit. I didn't say, usually, I mean, when I was searching for hits on my books, I would have to put, If I Could Be a Mermaid by Mary Brotherton. Steep Steps by Mary Brotherton. Otherwise, it didn't catch me. It caught you right off the bat.
well, I mean, Manaphage is kind of a unique name. Now, I will say, I had no idea what I was going to name this book. When my buddy was talking me into writing again, and I was like, okay, I don't know if I should. And suddenly the name, Manaphage, popped into my head because, a phage is a bacteria that eats other bacteria. And mana is magic, and this is a character who was designed and created to eat magic, to survive, and to grow. And it just kind of clicked all in my head. I was like, that's the title of my book, Manaphage.
That's cool.
You see, ladies and gentlemen, this is why we do what we do here. We give the authors the freedom to be real, to be who they are, to create what they want to create, to grow, to become three-dimensional themselves, to have a place where they're not judged, where they're not criticized, where they are protected by this mama bear. Don't be poking this mama. It does not end well. I will.
If I were to say anything bad about my own son, Yvonne would shoot me.
Oh, I would throw her in the back of the truck and help you look for her. So when we say that, yeah, we're a publishing house, but we're more than that. We're a family here. And because we don't say, okay, Aaron, you can send me your manuscript, but you got to chop 40,000 words out of it. No, no, because it takes away from the meat of the story. It just wouldn't be better than the rest of them.
Yeah, I couldn't cut 40,000 words out of that.
No, you could not.
I wouldn't want you to.
He couldn't cut 5 words out of that book. We have now been on air for an hour and 45 minutes.
But for our longer shows.
I told you it would go by fast.
Yeah, I mean, I did have to run to the restroom real quick, but aside from that, it felt like no time at all has passed.
That's how
Don't let me talk about my book for 30 minutes, so yeah.
Well, because it's about you. This show is about you, my darling, and about your journey, and about you letting go. Mary's got a thought. I see it. I see that. It's just the smoke's
Well, the finger helps.
She's pretty obvious about her thinking when she's thinking.
My son, who is right here on this show with us, told me probably 15 years ago, Mom, I'm never getting married, and you're never getting a grandson or grandchild from me. But you were wrong. Manaphage is my grandchild. And I am as proud of this book as I can be.
That's good, because I'm not a big fan of kids, but I like books.
Okay. I like children too, in a pot with vegetables.
I just don't feel like, no, I don't like them. My brother's got kids. And
he can have all the kids he wants.
Yeah, it's always fun to visit for the first couple of minutes.
And then leave.
I'm like, okay.
Good uncle.
See you later, bye.
Overstimulation meter is pegged. I've got to go.
I'm out of here. But in closing, what advice would you give, let's say your friend that tried to give you advice that's not published, what advice would you give him? If he were to come to you and say, how did you get published, what would you tell him?
I would have to say, you can't be a perfectionist. Sometimes you've just got to let the details that you are clinging on to, that you think are the most important thing,
Come around here and say hello.
you got to let it go. And that's what I had to do. Hey, Curtis!
Hey, Curtis!
He's just getting home.
Bless him.
Oh, welcome back.
What else would you tell him?
Oh,
Okay, what have you learned in this process?
to trust it, to let the process happen, to be patient. That's not an overnight. Well, I mean, it kind of was a little bit.
Yeah, it was for
To be
you.
honest, it sort of just happened real fast, but it took a long time to get there. You've got to trust the process. You have to let the things that you think are super important aren't necessarily. Like the details that are your, I don't know how to say what I'm trying to think, but for me, a lot of the,
Don't be nitpicky.
don't be nitpicky. Don't be nitpicky. Accept things that you didn't come up with as an idea. That's something that I've learned about myself that I did not know. If somebody tells me,
that translates into don't micromanage.
yeah, absolutely. And also, if somebody has an idea, give it actual merit, give it consideration, and don't just dismiss it out of hand because you didn't come up with it. And that's something that I deal with really badly. If it happened at work today, somebody's like, we could just do this. And I was like, no, that's going to be more difficult. I'll do the harder thing. And I walked across over to my area and I was like, wait, no, that's dumb. He was right the first time. Okay. His idea was right. So sometimes just because you didn't come up with the idea doesn't mean it's not a good idea.
I'd like to add to that, because I know he's not going to think of this. Celebrate the little wins.
Yes.
Every time you have something to celebrate, take a moment and do it. Don't think you've got to constantly be working on the next best thing. Also, all those little wins, all those little things that you think are insignificant or inconsequential, turn them into a social media post. By God, let the world know what's happening with you and your book.
It's so hard for me to think that the world actually gives a crap what happens to me.
Apparently they do, son.
Apparently so. I guess
Yeah.
I didn't realize it.
But
They
see,
do.
okay, let's think about this for a hot minute. In closing, Aron had sat on this book and had got all up in his feels because one publishing house was an idiot. Doesn't mean the whole world's an idiot. Most of them are, but that's beside the point. So he was going to let his dream die by suicide and by his own hand because of one incident.
Rejection.
I had many. I had a publisher take my royalties and go live with his mistress in Michigan. Yeah.
Yeah, that would have done it for me. I'd have been like, well, no, I guess that's not a world that I want to live in.
Me more diligent and more stubborn because I am not going to allow someone to steal my dream. They don't have my permission. And I'm not going to give them
I
permission.
like that.
And you're not going to give them permission because I'm not going to let you give them permission.
And now that you're in this world of midnight publishing, Matt, you can't get out.
Yeah, we suck you right in and we hold on to you for life. But what you have to understand, ladies and gentlemen, is if Aron had not let go and trusted the process and understood that we here believed in him when he didn't believe in himself, when I always have a plan, A, B, C, D, and F. And even if he doesn't like social media, all he's got to do is click and share. Because I give him everything else. He doesn't have to pay anybody to do it. All he has to do is go, oh, yeah, okay, she put that up. Click share. Click share. Drop those pictures send them to your mom. We'll put them up. She'll do a nice, pretty thing and send them to your mom.
Knows that. I'm guilty.
She's guilty. She'll take care of it. That's what we do here. But never, ever, ever allow someone to steal your dreams. They don't have your permission. Never allow someone to try to make you less than you are because they want your life and they can't have it. They couldn't handle your life. The next time someone says, well, you need to do this and this and this with your book, look at them and say, and how many books have you published? Apparently none. And if you hear somebody say, well, I'm writing this book, but I can't find a publisher, send them here. And if
I definitely will.
As long as they're not spicy.
As long as they're not erotica.
Yeah, that's the trick.
Because we believe when you don't. And I got enough faith for the whole world because that's just who I am. I have a brother that's mentally and physically challenged. And he's not a quitter. Even when people told him he couldn't, he said, hold my beer and watch this. So we take lessons.
I'm thinking about Stanley holding beer.
Just do it. Just do it, Yvonne. Just do it.
Buy the boots.
Just buy the boots. So understand that had Aron not let go, had Aron kept saying, well, I'm just not going to do this. I'm not playing because he didn't like my book. I'm going to take my toys and go to the house. Well, guess what? The book would have stayed at the house.
Yeah.
And years down the road, he would have gone, what did I do? Don't live with regret. Thank you, Aron, for not living with regret. Thank you for being here. Thank you for Manifest. I can't wait for the next one. Is it done yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet?
Yeah, we got a full 7 chapters in so far. Well, no.
And we
That was start of
know,
7
we know more than one, but at least I'd say 3 people that are eager for you to get your audio done because
Yes.
they will only buy Audible books.
And the thing with the Audible books, and Mary made a very valid point, there are more people out there than are not that can only listen to Audible. When my husband was in the last few months of his life, he could not read. He could no longer hold a book and his eyes no longer worked. So I spent a fortune on Audible books for him. And that was the only way he could sleep because he had sundowners. And I would put the earphones on and he would go to sleep listening to audiobooks. Audiobooks are very, very important in the world we live in now. It's a great therapy. We have an author whose son can't read, so he listens to audiobooks. And it's been a boon for him that all of our books, with the exception of a couple, are not up on audiobooks.
Wonder who she's talking to. I know she's not talking to me. All of mine that qualify are there.
I'm working on it. I have signed up for the ACX, which is Amazon Creation Exchange.
I've used them.
Yeah.
Cost me a fortune. But I used them once, never again. But
never again, huh?
Mm-mm.
Brandy's watching our podcast.
Brandy won.
I just got a text from her. Awesome podcast I'm watching.
Oh, I can't do the AI reading.
Can't or won't.
As my only Audible. I just cannot do that. That is the one thing I'm gonna.
Can't or won't. You have to decide. Can't or won't.
Cannot.
There's two different words, can't and won't. But anyway,
Cannot.
that's another discussion for another day. Audibles on all of our books that qualify are up, and we are selling.
And they're selling.
They are selling. And they're selling overseas.
A lot of the people that are overseas can buy the Audible or the Kindle, but they can't get the print book in their countries.
Right. So they go to Kindle, they go to Audible. Aron, honey,
And it's also a good way for people to learn English.
Yes. I love you dearly. I am so glad you're here. Thank you for the honor.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for helping me. It's been a huge help.
Well, you're an easy person to help, honey. You just didn't know you were an easy person to help. When you got out of your own way, it works. Mary will tell you she had to get out of her way too, but
Yep, I had to just step aside and let Yvonne take charge. She's really good at that.
this is the same woman that called me and said, I'm thinking of starting a magazine. What do you think? And I asked her the same questions that I always ask. And it worked.
How much do you want to do it?
Yep. How bad do you want to do this? Are you in for the long haul? And that's what it is here. We're in it for the long haul, one book at a time.
Yep.
So Mary, do you got any final words before we sign off for this 2-hour show?
No, I think I've said my final words. Love you all. I love you, Aron. Love you, Yvonne. Glad we had a chance to do this, and glad y'all got to see my husband walk through the door. I'm going to go make dinner. Well, he's cooking his dinner. I'm going to go throw something together.
Aron, you got any final before goodbye?
Not really. I just thank you all for watching. Thank you for having me, and God bless.
And we can't wait for the next book. It's gonna be.
It's working.
It's
Take.
Are we there yet? Are we there yet? So
Cooking in the slow cook.
we will bring you on when that second book launches. You will be coming back every time. Yeah, you're regular now. I hate it for you.
At least 5 more times.
At least, if not more.
But not every 10 years.
No.
No.
So on Tuesday, ladies and gentlemen, at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, Mary and I will have a workshop, and we will be talking about scammers and predators. Trust me, you don't want to miss this workshop. You can get on chat, you can join us live. We will have a link up where you can join us live. And then on Wednesday, we will recap on our podcast at 10:30, and we'll be talking about Mary's books. So until then, have the day you deserve. Be kind to one another. Be kind to yourself. And buy Manifage. Buy Mary's books. please.
Buy my grandchild book.
Buy her grandchild book. Yeah, buy her grandchild book.
Manaphasia is my new grandchild.
Good night, everyone.
Good night. Bye bye.